Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode 101 of Learn with Jason. I hope you're ready to get booped on the brain today because we are going to learn Ghost with Dave Darns. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's great.
Yeah, so for those of us who aren't familiar with your work, and honestly, your face, like I'm really just impressed that you have a face. I don't think I've ever seen it. Who knew this was a face reveal episode?
Yeah.
So for those of us who aren't familiar with your work, do you want to give a little bit of a kind of a background history?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it brief. I am a designer, but more a web developer, to be honest. I've been doing it for about 11 years now, doing lots of client stuff and that. And then about just under a year ago, I joined the Ghost team as a developer advocate. And my job is probably pretty much like yours, where you kind of show what people can do with Ghost and how they can build like really cool sites. And that's not just on the Ghost theming layer, but that's like as a headless CMS and all that kind of stuff, and stuff we're going to get into today.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Let's see, we've got all sorts of folks in the chat. What's up, everybody? We've got the .Mac, Ali Pixel. Oh, Milan, how you doing? It's good to see you. Yeah, Kirank Sayuki? Is that it? I'm sorry. Is that Rafa? That's Rafa. Good. Okay, Rafa's here. No one's going to take anything seriously for the rest of the chat. So I'm going to switch over into pairing mode because I'm ready to talk about Ghost, right? So let's let me pull up a window for Ghost, and let's see this one. This is the one that I want, and we're gonna go to just ghost.what?
Org.
Ghost.org. I love this. I love like, and then it's like twitter.ghost is awesome. Like, it's just so good. Like, it's all good. It's the branding is so on point. And I have these cool stickers. I shouldn't show these because I know that you're out of them, but I'm going to show these stickers real quick.
Yeah.
Like, check these out. These little baby ghosts are. It's like drinking a tiki cocktail. It's drinking a brain out of a skull. I thought it was a tiki cocktail. That's less fun now that I know what it is.
Yeah, no, it's a cocktail, Jason. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's got eye sockets and stuff, but don't worry.
Yeah. I can't hold it closer to the camera, Chris, because my camera doesn't have autofocus on, because otherwise it does like a pop in and out, which is very difficult. So yeah, this is going to be the spookiest episode we've ever done. And that includes the Halloween episode where we put spooky masks on people. So Ghost taking the #1 spot for spoopiness. All right. Okay. So what do we want to do today? Like, what would you like to be, what do you want to accomplish?
That's a great question. Like a lot of people use Ghost is about publishing, and what we want to do is we want to utilize Ghost's publishing platform and being able to write content and stuff like that, and kind of build some kind of site that has a bit more developer control per se, while still having all of that CMS goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ghost has got cards where you can kind of add in things like bookmarks and embeds and things like that. But what we want to do is like separate the front end off, so developers can be working with that and use the content API to pull that data in. So I don't know about like a particular like theme, not to mix up concept of theme, but like what kind of content we want to do. You could do like a documentation site, or it could be a personal blog. I mean, that's quite contrived these days. A lot of people have personal blogs, but maybe that's like a good starting point.
What if we put it to the chat? What do you think, chat? What should we build today? What kind of site should we build? Also, somebody want to try out the boop emote today? Today is where I've built. I think this is the silliest thing I've built on stream. So I'm really excited to see how y'all use it. Oh, look at it go. Oh, look at it happen. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's so good.
All right.
Rafa suggests a documentation blog site. A blog for
It's a great
Casper.
idea.
All right, that's good. Isn't Casper the default theme for Ghost as well?
It is. It's extremely confusing trying to Google stuff when you say Ghost Casper. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
that is definitely a little tricky. Okay, so we're gonna build a blog today. Let's do that. Yeah, the
Yeah,
.Mac
I
agrees.
quite like Rafa's idea of the documentation site on the side. So you could use pages to build out like the documentation and maybe something like that.
Sure.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
let's set up a blog, and then with the pages we can like maybe it can be like a blog for a something that would have docs. So we like the pages can be docs.
Yeah.
That seems good. So how do I start? Do I need to sign up for something?
You do you want to do it locally or do you want to do it like remotely or because you could have a Ghost Pro account and sign up for a trial there and create a site that way, or we
Um,
could do it with the CLI locally and have a local installation and do that.
we should maybe talk about the difference for a minute. So with the CLI version, is that so you mentioned a Ghost Pro account. What's the breakdown? What happens between the
Okay,
two?
so few people know that Ghost is a completely open source CMS, so you can just go and download it from GitHub or install it with the Ghost CLI, and you can install that on like a server, just like straight up, and that'll work fine for you. You'll self-managed. Someone just said DigitalOcean. Thank you for that. That's a good place to host it on DigitalOcean, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can also install it locally, but that's kind of predominantly for development purposes. So we can have a local host installation and have a bit more control and kind of bash it about a bit more and restart it and things and play around with it. And then Ghost Pro is our offering of like a premium like subscription for a Ghost Pro site.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes with support and like hosting and all that kind of all packaged into one thing. And to be honest, like the functionality of Ghost itself is like parallel to the open source version. That's kind
Okay.
of one of the things we pride upon. So
So what?
the
So
actual functionality is the same.
so what you're paying for basically is I'm paying for the convenience of not having to manage this. I don't have to figure out how to deploy it or manage
Exactly.
my own hosting or deal with DNS or like databases or scalability, any of that stuff. That's just you've got that infrastructure covered. And I know that my
and
backend's going to
support and
stay
stuff
up.
like that.
Yeah, and if I have questions, I can ask you instead of having to Google for it. So that seems like that seems good. You've got some endorsements from the chat. Extremely easy. Spun up a working membership site in minutes. That's a pretty strong endorsement. So
Thanks. Don't steal my job. Steady on now. That's too well worded. That is.
all right, so let's do this. I'm gonna do it from the command line because I think it's fun to see how things work, right? So
Yeah,
if
cool.
I want to do that, do I go to developers?
Well, we can do that straight from like the command line if you want to go from there. I mean, you can go into documentation.
Oh, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's YOLO. Talk me through it.
All right, so you do. I've got like a sticker here, and I really wish I had more of these stickers. So it's the npm installation. So you do npm install ghost -cli -g or space -g.
Okay.
There you go. So that's going to install the whole CLI tooling and everything you need. And I guess what we can do is kind of, hopefully that doesn't take too long.
No, all good.
Okay. And then what you want to do is find yourself a directory, unless you're going to work in that directory there.
What did we call this one?
Yeah.
Let's learn Ghost.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then
Here?
do, and then do ghost install local.
Ghost install local. Look at that happen.
Magic. Oh, I love that GIF.
What's up, Tony? I see yeah, Molebox made it out today. We got ooh, good. Good.
I'm getting welcomes. That's nice. Thank you.
Oh,
That's like
that's
a nice
cool too.
community
This
that's going on.
this loader that kind of
Yes.
looks like your logo. Damn it.
Done. So you can
So
just go to that local URL and
okay, so a question. Does that mean like so this is now running on my local machine?
yeah.
Do I have to like it's so it started, how do I stop it? Or does it just
Do
run
ghost
forever?
stop. Just do
Oh,
ghost stop.
nice. Okay. All right. And so if I look in this folder, I just want to see what's in here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get this over here. All right. So I have config. Good. Content. Versions. Oh, interesting. Oh, so this is like pulling all the ghost stuff, and then is this like
Yeah,
whatever?
that'd be the version stuff and things. So if you want to like go and look at the themes, it's just content themes, and then Casper will be in there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. All right, so now I have I've got this installed locally. I need to create an account. All right, so this is going to be Rafa had a good idea.
What was it?
Not the ghost. Okay, and I'll just put in a name. And then just use whatever password. Let's skip users. All right, now I'm looking at a site. Look how slick this is. This is nice.
Boom.
Oh. Oh, wait, is this the site? Oh, this is the
site on the
site.
right. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Casper. That's the latest version of Casper.
All right, I get it. Um, yeah, so now what it's a ghost. It hangs around forever now.
Are you a bit overwhelmed? It's like the installation's too fast. Like maybe we should slow it down. Slow installation process down.
Okay. All right. So we've got the site running. It's doing what we want. And yeah, this is all right. So this is cool. So now we've got posts, we've got pages. And this came with it looks like it came with a bunch of content. So
Yes.
do we even need to, is there really even anything we need to do? Like I
Not
like
the ghost itself.
yeah, so we're pretty much in business, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like delete all the content, but we need that content. It'd be nice to add more content later on just to show that it's fully up and working. We could add like new posts and pages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about like all right. There's this tension that I've noticed between like writing content for the web and consuming content for the web, because the best experience that I've found for consuming content on the web is static sites. So static site generators compile down to, just HTML, as little CSS and JavaScript as you can manage to get on the page and downloaded, as quickly as possible, right? So that tends to be the best consuming experience. It's fast, it feels slick, it doesn't feel all like bloated and janky where you feel things kind of popping around. You're not waiting a long time to move between content. But from a content creation standpoint, like authoring, that is kind of cumbersome. It doesn't scale very well. I've got, I'm trying to train somebody who's not a developer to go into GitHub and write markdown files, or I'm doing something like kind of, it always feels like it's making content authors work against their own preferences. They're working outside of their comfort zones. On the opposite side of that coin, you've got this really good content authoring experience with a lot of content management systems, but that has this cost for people who are viewing the sites, where unless you've done a bunch of work to stand up good infrastructure and you've got a lot of scalability and caching and all these things that are like not trivial to set up in DevOps, you are going to have kind of a slower experience. There's potential for things to go wrong. You can get DDoSed, and that's a bad content consumption experience.
Yeah.
So what I really like about the way that CMSs like Ghost are going is this idea of headless, where the CMS lets you have this really good content authoring experience, and then you use a static site generator to consume via API the content from that CMS to then generate static files so that you get this really amazing content consumption experience. And so that to me feels like this to me feels like the thing that is making the biggest difference in modern web development. It's one of the things that I'm most excited about right now, is that we're finally bridging that gap. It doesn't feel like you're trading off like, oh, it's going to be easy to write, but it might suck to use, or it's going to be easy to use, but it might suck to write. Now it's easy to write, easy to use. That's where, best of both worlds. We get to have our cake and eat it too. And as someone who loves cake, that's good news for me. So I guess at this point, like I would love to dig into that and let's see what we can do with it. So what would you want to do? Like, what should we do next? What's our next thing?
Okay. Just before we go on to that, I'll just tag on to the end. The other thing about having these two sides of the coin, like the best of both worlds, I've noticed this in our community as it talks more about like using headless, is that using headless kind of unlocks so many more options and so much more like free will to say, do you know what, I want to have that, I want to do this, I want to use this, I want to do that. I'm not saying that our like theming platform is limited, but developers are keen to do a lot, and they want to do a lot, have a lot of control, and having that headless option means that they can just take that data, which is what the best bit about Ghost, or the content, and pull it all out into a site that they've completely custom built. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry. So
you've been asked to lean into the mic. You're a little low.
Oh, right. Lean into the mic. I've got a whole arm and like set up and everything, but I keep.
No, you're good. You're good now. I think it was just when you were in like full recline. You were in like philosopher mode. Just like laid back in the chair.
Oh dear. Oh, I better stop doing that.
All right. So let's show this off, because I think this is like, to me, this feels like a really cool thing. Oh my God. Hold on. There's a debate that I was going to ignore because...
Is this the sandwich thing?
It's the sandwich thing.
I'm willing to skew off onto a sandwich topic. All right.
What is this?
Is the salmon on the bottom?
I don't know. Okay.
If there's salmon on the bottom, then...
Okay, so it's English bread. I want to see this cut into. Someone needs to cut into it. So you do...
But it's got sandwich in the name. You trust
eggs and mayonnaise on top of the bread.
Oh, so it is a sandwich.
It's an open face sandwich.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. There's a lot going on in here. That's pretty.
That's like a lasagna kind of thing going on.
Yeah, but lasagna is also a sandwich. So. Rafa's so upset. Yes. If you're not familiar with why we're talking about this, Sarah Drasner, who is just the worst. I'm kidding. I love Sarah. Sarah launched a thing today that I'm trying to find here. This ridiculous thing that she did. I'm so upset with her about it. Is this a sandwich.netlify.dev, and you are supposed to go and answer some questions, but all of the questions are lies, because it is incontrovertible fact that everything is either a soup, a salad, or a sandwich. I've done the research. It checks out. You're not gonna change my mind on this. Oh, this is great. All right, now we're being actively. This is what I was afraid of with the boops.
Are they boops for agreement or like complete disagreement?
Who knows? I don't even think it's related. It's just unrelated trolling. Okay, so let's well, should we make Rafa look at more pictures of sandwiches?
Yeah.
Protest boops. That's great. A boop is not a sandwich. That's true. All right, so all right, let's focus up. Nobody's here. Like, come on. I gotta run it on myself. All right. Let's what are we even doing here? Do we have
So we're making a sandwich, and
we're making a sandwich. My sandwich result was chaotic evil, but that's only because the questions are wrong. Everybody knows I'm chaotic good. Like, that's where I fall on an alignment chart.
oh, okay.
Okay.
It's rigged. The test is rigged.
What were your questions? Mac, you gotta repeat because we have lost.
Yeah, sorry.
Should we focus up? Should we write some code?
Oh no.
Yeah, probably. Okay. What happens next? What are we doing? I want to write some code.
Let's write some code. So what we can do on the other side of the coin. So let's like start out of the gate with, I don't know, let's try with the Gatsby starter that we've got for Ghost.
Okay. And is that over here like Gatsby starter Ghost?
That's right.
Here?
That's the one.
All right. So let's take a look at how to get rolling with that. I believe I just install this starter, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty like typical Gatsby installation. And then what we could do, I guess we could then wire it up to our local install.
Yeah. So if I put a folder called like site in here, is that going to break Ghost?
I would probably do it like outside of it, just to...
Okay. Let's learn Ghost Gatsby. Okay, and then I'm gonna run npx Gatsby new, and I'm gonna use this folder, and we're gonna use the starter Ghost.
Okay.
And
then what we can do is we can go over to the Ghost installation and we can set up a new integration. So we can integrate Gatsby, this Gatsby starter or Gatsby Lite new site with Ghost.
Ooh, cool. All right.
So yes, so this is integration. So if you scroll a little bit down, you can create your own custom integration.
Okay.
So that's all kind of different integrations you use, like Slack and Zapier and things like that.
Okay.
That's it. And then that is our credentials. So we can copy the content API and the API URL, and that's what we'll need to get the content out of our Ghost installation and into our Gatsby install.
Okay. And then I will, once this is finished here, open this up so we can edit it. I mean, I don't really need I'm not going to be in Ghost at all, right? Like, we're not going to edit any Ghost files.
No.
Okay, so we can
need to be touched.
We'll leave Ghost alone. And then Sharp.
I think the only reason you would do that is if you were making a custom theme and you were wanting to. That's one of the reasons why you want to have a local install, is so you could run the theme in there and live edit it.
Yeah. So what there's a question. Usually I go from scratch, and so we're grabbing this starter, and let's take a look at what's in here, because it might be worth talking about like how all of this works, and let's go from scratch actually. So let's get this rolling, but then let's try it with not Gatsby. Let's do like 11D or something, and we'll pull it in just from scratch. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on in here. We are grabbing out, we're using the file system. Okay, that all makes sense. We've got the Ghost manifest, which is coming out of the Ghost settings. That's very cool. We're generating an RSS feed, doing a sitemap. Cool. Then we're catching links so that local links get turned into Gatsby links. That's good. React helmet, so we can do custom metadata. Force trailing slashes. Okay, that makes sense. So that the URLs are always the same with the trailing slash. and then an offline plugin. Going bold right out of the gate with that offline plugin, huh?
I'd love to take credit for this starter, but it's really Eileen who did this, and she did it I think just before I joined the team.
Awesome.
And one of the reasons why I think John wanted me to join the crew is that I tried to beat them at making a starter for Ghost before they made a starter for Ghost, like a Gatsby install thing. So I was trying to like build it myself on Netlify. Managed to do it just about. So
nice. So that means then I need to do what? Like I need to create a environment variables. Because
yes. So if you flip back to the README docs, that should help you.
README docs. Okay. So got the Gatsby starter, installing, then install dependencies. We've done that. Running. Okay. The .ghost config. This one?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I can just drop these in here, and then I need the local host. So I'll copy that. And that's like, this is clearly not going to work because this is a local site. So we'll have to get that Ghost instance up on the internet. Maybe I'll create like we'll figure it out. Sorry? I'm trying to think of how I can get this up so that we can actually like deploy this demo so that it'll build.
Oh, right. Well, that's where we could use Ghost Pro. You could sign up for
a
trial.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so let's do that. And now I've got this configured, it looks like. And so will this will just run if I go back to the README and check? Yes. Update the content API key. Yeah, YOLO. Let's run it.
Do it. This is where we probably want like some extra content in there because the default content from like all sites is going to look the same.
Yeah, that's okay though. We'll get just run this. Oh, what is it? The dev. Yarn dev. And this is gonna go later. Rafa, thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Are we gonna touch custom fields and stuff today at all? I know that there was a question about that. Custom data, custom fields.
Well, that's like that would be part of like Ghost itself. So that the real question would be what do you want to do with a custom field? Like what do you want to build into it rather than just saying like custom fields? It would be better to like figure out what's going to be done with those fields and what they're going to be used for. Are you going to make like a call to action or something like that? So it'd be cool to like talk about stuff that's like what you want to do with it rather than like hardcore like developer parts. So like custom fields is kind of, it's quite an open-ended thing.
Trying to figure out how does this Ghost JSON get used? I'm just trying to figure that part out. Get the config. Oh, and this just requires .ghost. So yeah, it grabs the Ghost config out of here and then uses that. And then if you don't have a .ghost file, then it will try to use the environment variables. Okay, that makes sense to me. That's all fine. This might be the first time that I've actually seen a finally block used. Actually, I'm almost positive that's the first time I've seen a finally block in production code. Okay, so we've set this up and it is running our site. So we can see like this is the title that I typoed.
Sweet.
And so if I go into my settings and like let's create a new post, and we'll say Casper, the mattress company, is going to sue me for that. We're not going to do that. Um, all right, how about that? So I'm
Perfect.
saving this. We're going to publish it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's published. And now if I stop and start, nope, that's not the one I want to stop and start. I want to stop and start here. Then once that builds, theoretically speaking, we should have here. It's working. Okay. So I mean that's like this is obviously like we're using a starter. This is a super opinionated approach to things. But what's nice about it is that it like just kind of gets out of the way, right? So if I want to go in and start making changes, I can just start poking around in the various files and see like, okay, we've got the layout
and stuff.
And then I can look at this app.css. So let's poke around in here, right? And then we can start looking at like what the different colors are. So let's change this to hot pink and see what happens. I don't know what happened because I don't know if we're using that color anywhere. Let's.
What was the variable?
Primary color.
Oh, that should be like the links. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Okay, so like this, that's that. And then for the background, we can make this like blue. It's a very, very stylish site that I'm working on here. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's kind of we're making a mess out of it. That's okay. But yeah, so like all these different things in here, and then if I go look at different sections, it looks like we could just go in and mess with these. So that is pretty exciting, pretty cool. We can do quite a bit here. And we could just look at like, all right, I want to change the site head. So let's go in here and find site head. There it is. And then I can make the background like, how do I do this? It's probably easier if I just do it like this.
Classic way, the classic CSS comment.
Oh, but it's got some kind of an effect on it. So we'd have to go, spelunking a little bit to figure out where these bits are coming from. But either way, we can jump in here and make all that work. But so this, I mean, like this is super cool, and how quickly this kind of came together and let us actually start publishing things. What I like about it is that like a lot of times. This just happened to me. So I'm going to tell you a story about like how hard I make things when they don't need to be hard. So I just launched a workshop, which is here. Still have some early bird tickets available if people want them. But so in building this workshop, the thing that I wanted to do was like add a workshops page to learn with jason.dev and do an integration with Tito so that it would pull them and we could get ticket counts and do all this like very dynamic stuff that was going to be super cool. And I still do want to do that. But this workshop is in like 7-8 days, right? And so for whatever reason, I was like, well, I can't launch the thing until I've built all of this other stuff. And then Joel Hooks, who runs Egghead, he sent me a message. He was like, hey, what if you didn't shave this yak and you just like shipped it? And so we put up this page instead of trying to do all this fancy stuff. And one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of like company blogs or people who want to start writing content is that they'll bog down in building the personal site and like getting all of this. They like try to get all of this cool stuff in place. They've got all these ideas about the ways they want to publish, and they never actually get a chance to write any content. And so what I think is really exciting about this is like, this looks nice. It's an easy workflow. You could start publishing content like 15 minutes from now. You could install Ghost, you could set up this starter, and you could write your first blog post and like be done with it. You are now a blogger. Just do the thing, publish some content. And like after you built the habit, after you get the content going, that's when you start customizing the site. Because otherwise it's just a yak shave, right? You're trying to polish a thing that doesn't exist yet. So anyways,
you got to like build that return on those kind of incremental things. So, that's the priority. The content is at the end of the day, as much as I hate that phrase, the content is the priority. and as long as it's supporting it and providing for it, whether that be like a fast site or good typography, something like that, they're all providing for the content. The content is the priority thing, and you could put loads of bells and whistles on everything, but you got to make sure that is going to get returned back to you. Kind of that's going to be a benefit, or well, in reality, benefit to your audience.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if you don't, and because the hardest part is that like everybody wants to look professional, right? And the challenge with looking professional is that like the least professional thing is a blog post with one post that says, I'm really going to start blogging again this time. Sorry it's been so long. I'm going to be super regular. And that post was posted in 2017. Like that just looks like a site that's dead. Having a default template that is updated regularly, updated frequently, that is like super high quality. Like that's going to show dedication. That's, that's being really, it's good. Like that's, I would always optimize for building the habit of content creation instead of trying to get all the foundation right. Like ship it half broken and then go and fix it once you're making the reps. What is up, Phil? Phil is here. Paul is taking off later. Thank you for stopping by. We do have a question about using Gatsby GraphQL and pulling in from Ghost. So do you want to, like, what's a thing that we could do kind of quickly to show, like, I want to do something custom. So can I make like a specific kind of page or do something kind of weird that we want to show?
Well, what we could do is, and this is something that I've done on my site, or I'm trying to do on my site, is, so say you've got like a kind of extended biography in the header. So, we've got the kind of Casper mattress thing in the header. So what if we wanted to have like rich content under the heading, and we created a page called Home, and then we use the GraphQL layer that is already actually in the starter because there's a Gatsby source Ghost plugin, and write content with rich content editing in there. So like links and italics and stuff like that, and then pull that into the header area. So it's kind of a feature section that's got rich content in it rather than a string of text.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. And I will just add a little bit of rich text. So we'll italicize something so that we can see that it's working. And I'm going to publish it.
I'm super quiet. I'm going to pull it right up to my face.
You're going to have to project, really go from the diaphragm.
Yeah.
Put on your DJ voice.
I've got these like new soundproof headphones.
Yeah, I have the soundproof headphones, but I have to wear them like halfway off my ear so that I can hear myself. Because otherwise I'm like, if I put them all the way on, then I'm like, oh, this is too loud. I'm being too loud. So I have to like pop them halfway off my ear.
I'll do that, and it'll help me to do the opposite, to talk really loudly.
We got to go, like, we'll do the rest of the show as like morning talk show DJs. So like, whoa, welcome to the show with Dave and Jason in the morning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My vibe.
All right. So now, so we got this, and so like I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna pull up GraphQL, right? And so in here now we can see all this Ghost stuff is available. So I just created a page, so I'm gonna look for pages, and I want to get. Let's just get a list of them, right? So let's start by getting the title, and I'm gonna get rid of these that I don't need right now. Okay, so I'm not finding any pages, and that's because we just created it and I didn't stop and restart. So let's pull that page back in.
This reminds me of Syntax. On Syntax FM, they do like the whole like real radio style podcast stuff, and I really like it because it just kind of gets you energized.
Yeah. But it's so funny. I was on there was a local radio station in the town that I grew up in that was small enough that they would let kids host an hour of radio, and they could just come in and like. I grew up in Montana, so like there was not a lot going on there. So so we'd go in, and I was like 16, and I wanted to like be a DJ for a day, and I got so much shit for it because I was trying to be a radio DJ, and I thought that you had to talk like that. So I was on the show and I was like, all right, coming up next, we've got one of my personal favorite tracks. Like, it was... I'm really glad that a recording doesn't exist of that.
And then there was another person that was like me that was really quiet in the background, and you were just completely drowning them out. And they had so much to say, and no, joshing.
So Thor, this is a static site generator. So what it's doing is it's taking the data from Ghost and it's generating it down into a set of static files. And so what we're doing now, since we're running the development mode, is that it's got some things like watching and you know, all that kind of stuff. Phil has a good question. So sorry, to finish my thought with Thor, Gatsby has a development mode where it's actually like running a server. It's running live. But when we build, it's going to take all of this data and it's going to turn it into static assets. And then we could shut Ghost down entirely and ship this to the internet. And in fact, I'll show you how we can do that here, just because I think it's worth demonstrating the power. So in fact, why don't we do that right now? If I want to build this, do I just run Ghost? Or no, I know exactly what I do because I know how Gatsby works. So I'm going to yarn build. Right?
There we go.
And I'm going to stop this server because otherwise they'll fight with each other. So I'm going to build this. And while I'm waiting for that to build, I'm going to open up Netlify. And I'm going to go to my sites.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm going to go find this folder. It's here. Here. Let's learn Ghost, Gatsby, and then we're going to get this public folder, right? And so now that that's built, I can just straight up drag it in, and it's going to deploy this site for me. So it's just uploading the site. The site is live, and now we have published this site. Now, keep in mind, remember, this is only available, this Ghost server is only available on my, my local machine. So it is without getting access to my physical machine, or you can't, like, there's no security risk here. So this site that is shipped is it's a fully compiled instance, snapshot in time of where the Ghost database and settings and everything was when we started. And that's another really powerful thing, because like if I go and make a change, like I want to change it to be like get rid of this red color that I made all gross. If I drag another folder up, that's a separate deploy, and then we get the ability, like I can just, if I'm like, never mind, I want the red back, I just click on the previous deploy and switch to that one, and that's it. Chris just had an idea. Be right back. Oh no, we're about to get trolled so hard.
In that case, I'm going to grab Phil's question before we get trolled.
Yes, please do.
So you can get draft content and from Ghost, but you use the admin API rather than the content API. And that's kind of on purpose. It's like admin API, you can get into Ghost and you can actually send content back to Ghost. So if you wanted to, you could never see Ghost, but use Ghost at the same time. So you could have one end writing content in like a custom editor of some kind, and that publishes it to Ghost, and then Ghost then sends it to Gatsby, and then you rebuild Gatsby and gets deployed like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole like process, you could have that without actually like writing much code, because you can use like an iOS app like Ulysses, which is good for like markdown writing content, and that will publish to a Ghost installation, and then that Ghost installation will then let Gatsby know that there's new content that's been published, and then rebuild itself there. So you can have like a whole kind of custom editing experience and published experience for your readers, without even like touching or looking at Ghost per se. You're kind of using it as a content, like a purist, like content management kind of, it is managing content just there.
With the admin API, is all content draft until published, or like, so like when I wrote something,
Oh, so it's just going to automatically save.
So this is automatically saved. So if I just back out, now I have a draft. So in order to take it live, I just have to hit this. I have to hit this button.
Yes.
Okay. And then are those visible to me in like, is the starter set up that when I'm in Yarn Dev, is the starter set up so that when I run locally, like development mode, it's going to pull drafts? I guess we'll find out shortly.
No, you can't get drafts from the content API. You get that from the admin API, and that's like a separate API endpoint where you could get the drafts through.
I got you. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That totally makes sense. So, dig it. All right. So we've set this up, and then like while you were explaining about the admin API, I did another deploy of this site, and so we can see now that we've got like this is the one where I reset all the styles. So we fixed the color of the links and everything. But if I decide I'm not happy with that, I can just be like, nah, I want my red links back. And so I click this publish button, and now I've got my red links back, right? So and I could lock it so that nobody could change my decisions. Like I always want red links and that's all. Or I can go back here and say like, just kidding. I want the default. Let's keep the default, right? So this is kind of the power of it, because you're able to build each version of your site is legitimately a folder. It's like, when you used to create like your essays or Photoshop files, and it would be like, report.final, report.final.really final, that kind of thing. This is a more organized version of that. Each deploy is a completely standalone instance of the site. This is a site by itself. We could delete this one and this would still work, and vice versa. Which it gives us so much control and like fail-safe as we move back and forth, which I really love. Okay, so we were gonna do a thing. We were gonna get custom content up here.
Yes. Sorry, I was distracted by a question that's come up in the thing. I just want to like get a good read of that one. Is there a hosted Ghost service, or do authors have to have self-hosted instance? No, you can do Ghost Pro or self-hosted, or you can do local installation like Jason's doing right now. Mm-hmm. They're all like exactly the same feature set. But I would recommend Ghost Pro because like for me, like managing back-end stuff is just like a mare for me, and I can't like be dealing with that. And I've had enough grief. I would rather just kind of have it all managed for me and make sure its uptime is there. So when it rebuilds, it's there. It's always there.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it like, this is what I think is really cool about this stuff, is that we're moving to a world where like you have control to do a fully open source, self-hosted, self-managed everything. Or there's like, so you can pay time and manage it yourself, or you can pay money and somebody does it for you. And I've always really liked that model, because I feel like there's everybody's got their point where the line tips over. So I will pay X amount of dollars to make problems go away, but beyond that amount, I will pay time, because nothing comes for free, right? You're either going to do it yourself or you're going to pay somebody to make that problem go away. So you just kind of think about what your own time is worth, and like what reward you get from doing the work yourself. Because I do some stuff that is totally like, I could pay $3 and a service would take care of it for me, but I really like doing it, right? And so I'll like design my own like social media cards, or like do little drawings of diagrams. I could totally go to the Noun project and buy one for like $5 and it would just be done and gone. But like, I kind of like it, so I do it the hard way. So if you enjoy doing that stuff, totally do it. But if you don't enjoy it, you might be able to just pay like $15 and make that problem go away.
Yeah.
But so we've created this page, and we want to put this, I want to get this content onto my site. And that means, where did it go? Here, I've got this query, and in this, I can get out, let's see, HTML, is that it? Look at that. So here's my HTML. And I don't even need that title actually, because I'm going to skip it. So I just want this bit, right? And then if I go to, let's see if I can figure this out. Got my pages, no, templates, index. So here's my main.
Yes, yeah, the index, yeah. It could be in a header somewhere, but.
Container, post feed. I think it's going to be in the layout. So let's look in the layout. The viewport top, and then I've got a header. This header includes, we've got a site logo, and then
here we go, is home.
Here it is. So instead of the site description, I want to get my content. So I'm going to go look for, are we already pulling in a GraphQL query? We are.
I think we are.
So I can add this. Okay. And then I should have access to, let me make this a little bit bigger. Get out of the way. So I've got this, and then if I go to my, where's my data? So the data's coming in, so I can just grab that. And let's get the page. And maybe I can just collapse this to make it easier to get back and forth. I can. Okay. So it's going to be data.ghost page. Okay. And so now in here, I should hopefully be able to find my section with the banner on it, and I can do page.html, but this isn't going to work because we go to localhost 8000, it's just printing out HTML. But I mean, we're kind of close, right? So now we just got to do a little React. So let's go dangerously set inner HTML to the HTML, and then I'm going to move this inside.
I can't get over that prop name.
So good.
I know it's a thing, and it's just it kind of messes with my mind, but I guess that's a good sign, isn't it? That's like the purpose.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing. What did I get wrong? I got something wrong. Oh, I triple underscored it. There it is. So now we've got full control over that. We can control this home page and drop that in. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. It does the thing. It gives us control over this content. So now if I want to go in here and if I do this, I don't think this will live update because it runs on the queries, right? So I have to stop and restart to get that to work. So let's...
Yeah, I mean...
You can do that kind of stuff, but you've got to do like live back and forthy things that are... honestly, it's so much work to set up that usually I just don't, because it's pretty easy to stop and restart the server. And there we go. It's now working. So yeah. So that's basically the way that we would get it into Gatsby. But how much time do we have? We got like 30 minutes. Let's maybe give this a whirl with Eleventy. See if we can get some content in there.
Yeah, because we can go more to the metal with that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to see kind of how to do exactly that, right? So let's create a new directory, and we'll call this Let's Learn Ghost Eleventy. All right, and then I will get init, and let's teach. All right, so in here, let me stop this server so that we're not running too much on the computer. So with this, like, we can do quite a bit here. So I'm going to just create, let's do this. I'm going to create a source folder, and that's going to be where we put all of our stuff. And then I'll put in, how should we do this?
What do you think?
How would you,
Talk to me.
I'm trying to think about how we would do the like page layouts here. So would we do that as like just a straight layout, or how are you thinking about pulling in the content?
So we do have a starter, but I don't want to use the starter for this
Right.
case. I would have, so we're going to have the .11t.js file, and that's going to have the content API running in there. And we can generate collections with that.
Okay.
In 11t, so we can kind of generate those collections, and then what we can do is have a layout file, and then like a kind of almost like a routing file. So 11t is happy.
All right. So I've got, this is about as much as I remember about the 11d config file, is that we get a config object, and then inside of here we are going to do what?
So what we could do is we could get the content API. If you look for the Ghost content API, we can bring that in as a dependency, so we can get all that data from our local Ghost installation.
Okay. Apparently my Slack is unmuted, so let me go fix that.
Is that Rafa talking about sandwiches again?
It might be, yeah. That's now that I've gone off Do Not Disturb, it's just he's still mad at me.
Yeah.
I have 150 unread notifications.
Yeah.
And another thing. All right, so I have an API client. That's probably what I want, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I want here. Okay. Where's my...
So that's the sample code. What we want to do is we
just want to install it, right?
Yeah, that. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank goodness we got it on there. Yes, I mean, our docs are fully established. It's fully written out.
All right, so I'm just going to create a new site, and then I will add the content API. And then in here, we're going to, let's go usage. I can...
you want to do require, yeah.
So ghosts, I'll just do ghost, and then it's going to be require, try ghost content API, just like that. Yep. Okay. And then inside of it, I want to...
We're going to create like a new instance of the ghost content API. There you go.
Okay. So do I want to do this probably out here? So we'll go API equals new, capitalize that so we know it's a thing. Ghost, and then I want that to be, we need a URL, a key, and a version. URL, key, and a version. And the version, I'm using v3. I check that here, right? Like,
yep. That should be fine. Yep.
Is there a way to find that though?
If you click on U, like at the bottom on the left there.
About Ghost. Version 3. Okay. So I want v3. And then my URL and my key are the content keys, right? So that's under integrations, have my Gatsby key. So my URL.
I mean, you could use that, or you could create another one if you wanted to, just to kind of separate concerns. If you wanted to create a 11t integration, you could do that. But
oh yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
I probably should do that, huh? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to add a custom one. We'll call it 11d. Create it. Now I've got a API URL, which is the same, and I have a content API key, which I'm going to put in here. Okay. And then inside now this content key, this is not sensitive, right? This is something that it just gets public data. There's no sensitive access.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just public content. That's kind of like why we've got the content API and then an admin API. So it's kind of separating them out.
Got it. Okay. Now, if I want to use this, so this now should have access to the content. So if I go back to here, I can just get posts. If I set it without a limit, will it just give me all the posts? I guess it doesn't really matter, but
I think you can put all. Let me get up like my development site just so I can like look at that, because I'm trying to redo it all in 11t right now with Ghost.
Oh, nice. There's probably an API reference.
But I'm doing that very thing you were talking about and procrastinating and trying to make it the most perfect thing ever made.
Sorry, didn't mean to call you out. And I'm gonna await this. I think this works. Posts. Yeah. And then I think like if I just run catch console.error, if there's an error, and then where do you put these? Do I just return these like that?
Yeah. You can just log it out.
Okay, I'm just gonna log it, and then we'll put it in console.log posts, and then I need to install yarn add for development. We'll add 11d, and then in my package JSON, I'm going to add a script, and that is going to be build will be just 11d, and then I think I can do a dev, which is like, what is it? It's 11d. Do you remember this? Is it 11d serve?
Oh, it's like cross n. Oh, dash dash serves dash dash watch.
All right, I'm just going to add to the git ignore so that it doesn't try to read all those files. All right, so if I run yarn dev, that didn't work because I didn't save that yet. Yarn dev. What? Don't give me that. I saved you. Content of the file. Oh. Let's close this. Don't save. Get back in here. Try again. Save. Yarn dev. Nope, I got it wrong.
What's going on?
Well, it clearly is getting the ghost content.
It's getting all the content.
But I did something wrong in 11d is the problem. So let's figure out what the actual error is. Fatal error in your 11d config file. Returning a promise is not supported. So that's me doing. That's me getting it wrong. So that is not allowed. So instead, how would I do this?
What was your syntax? Await.
Yeah, I
can't await before there.
Can't async await though, because that's what threw the error.
Oh, that's what I'm doing.
You're doing it out of the module exports?
Yeah. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so I'm doing config.add collection, and then I do an async function.
Oh, you're doing config.
And then await.
Okay, so all right, so what you're doing is config.add collection.
Yeah.
And then this is what you're awaiting. Right?
Yes, but you want before that, you want like the name of the collection. So what you could do is put posts there in quotes. That's it.
Got it. Okay. All right, that makes more sense. And then I do need to await. Okay. And then do I just return it?
I think you can just return it.
All right, that's good for me. Let's get that out of the way, and then let's try this again. Well, that didn't explode, so that's promising. And so then that means that I should be able to put together a file that is what, like I do posts dot.
You want to do posts / So in my source, I got posts, and then I got posts dot. I'm doing nunjucks.
Okay.
You could do whatever you want. So if you do nunjucks,
yeah, nunjucks is fine.
And then what you can do is set what the data is for the pagination in there, and then you would need like a layout, or you can just do a loop.
And what are you putting in? You're putting it in post / what now?
Oh wait, no, we want to just do an index. Sorry, we want to just do let's just do index so we can
Index, and you're
spit
doing
out all the posts.
nunjucks?
Yes, index.njk. And
Okay.
then I've got front matter, and I've set the pagination to data.
You do front matter like this in nunjucks?
Yeah.
And you're doing,
So I'm doing pagination.
Pagination.
And then within that, I've got data collections.posts.
Collections.posts. Is that right? Or is it hyphen?
No, it's that.
Okay.
And then you can put under that, you can do an alias of posts.
Alias of posts. Posts.
Don't know if we need it, but it's there. And then
Okay.
what you could do underneath that now, we can do a for loop with nunjucks.
Okay.
And
that is it's like for post in posts, right?
That's right.
And then I want to do, let's see, we'll make this a UL, and then I want to get list item, and inside of this we will do, let's see, I'm just going to set this up to do what I want. And for UL, all right. Inside of here, what does the post data look like? Do you want to walk me through that?
So we can do post.title, I believe.
That's an easy start. Let's try there.
Double braces.
Double braces. Okay. So then if I go to where's this thing loaded? 8080. Did you not like my file? Pagination data collections.posts. Something
not recognize.
It doesn't like this at all. It like really doesn't like this front matter.
Whoa.
That's
weird, because that's what I've got.
With the triple dashes, it's not escaped somehow. You know what I'm going to do, because I know it works? I'm going to change this to Markdown.
Yeah.
Might have to stop and restart it to get that to cooperate. Missing pagination size, so we'll do the size of 100 or something. Yeah. There. So now we have a list that didn't quite work because we have to escape it, and we escape it with safe, I think.
Yep. Although
that
the MD file is like not safe.
Oh, okay. I know what's going on. So
MD file.
Yeah. So we got to create like we'll create includes layout.njk, and then we can do, it's not going to work, of course.
Maybe the NJK didn't work because it's like template formats. You have to like accept in. I've got, in the options, I've got Markdown template engine as NJK.
Oh, okay. So I think it's like by default liquid, I think. So now if I set this to be a layout of default, still doesn't want to do it. It doesn't like something. You're trying to use a layout that does not exist. Let's start again.
Do you have to do the file extension?
I don't think so. I think, is it include?
Oh, if you put include instead of includes.
I called it layout, not default. Okay, so that should be working better, but it's not quite what we're after. Let's make sure this is actually rendering. Okay, so that is rendering. And so we're getting our post title. Why doesn't it like this? What am I doing wrong here? I swear I've seen this before. Just look at the docs, I guess, if all else fails. We can go collections. There's going to be an example in here. Paging an array. That is literally what I did. Right?
That's
like
in Nunjucks, though.
For post and pagination posts. And then we want this to be post.title. If this works, I'm going to be upset. Okay, so now it doesn't work at all. Okay, we just got an empty thing. Oh, post in posts.
Oh, there we go.
Now it works. What did I change?
Is it
Post
the
in
dashes
posts.
for like removing white space?
That
Oh, so you
no,
need the
that can't be it. That's not it. What I must have typoed something. I don't know what I did, but something wasn't right. I'm gonna copy this.
Nice.
Let's just roll back for a second. What was it?
Because the hyphens are for white space,
For
right?
post
They're
in
not.
posts. And for there's no way that this shouldn't have worked. Does it have to be back like this? I don't get it.
What's it doing in the markup in the inspector? What's it doing? Is it wrapping it in a code block because of the indentation?
Post in posts. I mean, it must be. So if I do it like this, is that going to do it? Oh, that is. Oh, I know why.
It's markdown, isn't it?
It's marked
yeah,
down.
because the indent.
Damn it. Well, that's embarrassing. Okay. So all right, but so this is, but like this is, what we have done here is we have effectively, with like just a few lines of code, we have hooked up to the Ghost API. We're loading from our local version, but if you have a hosted version, you'd be able to do that. And then you're able to just like add in the posts. So if you wanted to do something like limit to a certain type or filter, or you wanted to get a collection of like, I've got my code notes, or I've got my personal blogs, or I've got whatever, you could actually just list all of those with tags and then filter and add them to different collections and kind of repeat this process. Because what we're doing here is we're just grabbing those posts. And then if I wanted to like do an actual post, like don't I just do like post.md, and then I think I copy all of this out except I do a size of 1, and then I think it's like h1.
Oh yeah, this is a little hacky trick. Yeah, because it generates all the individual posts.
Yeah, right.
You want post.html.
Post.html. Okay, so check this out. So we just did that. And now if I try to go to, we have to figure out what one of the URLs
Oh no,
is.
we can put a slug in. We can do the URL.
We can do it?
Yeah. So we can do, if we
Like
go back
this?
to the list. No. If you want to like link from your post list to the individual post. So if we go to the index.
Oh, got it. Then we can link.
And then make that an anchor on there. And then do href, yeah, post.slug.
Okay, so now back here, we've got site. Okay, so we're not quite there yet because we also have to tell, I think we have to like tell Levendy what the URL is.
Yeah, so if we do permalink, I've got all the answers here because I'm like building the same thing.
Excellent. That is what I was looking
Permalink, single quotes, and then do like template string, so double braces, post.url.
Post.url, not slug?
I do post.slug for now, sorry. I'm doing something fancy. I'm
okay.
like
And do I
transforming all this URLs.
Do I need to do it like this?
That's it. Yep.
Okay, so I'm doing something wrong.
Do we need to do like a slash, like a perfect prefix it with a slash or
Oh,
something?
no, that's just me putting it in the wrong file is why.
Ah.
Do I need to restart? Doesn't like something. Duplicate
We could always
permalink
check
output
the-
error was thrown.
Okay.
Use distinct permalink values. All right, I'm gonna just do some debugging here. And let's print out what the slug is. And all of them are coming back empty. Or did you die? Just start over again. Nope, it's still mad. Okay, so it doesn't like what we did there. Let's look at the permalinks. Data variables. Huh. Why don't you like that? Do we have to do a .html? No, that can't be right.
What? No. Maybe you do. Maybe you do, because I'm doing post URL, and that contains all the slashes and everything.
Okay, so let's
slug is literally like an ID.
Okay, so we're gonna do post slug index.html.
And I would probably put a slash in front of it as well.
Duplicate. It doesn't think permalink values to resolve this conflict. It doesn't like something in here.
Oh, you need to, because it's a collection, you need to have it in a root called post. So post.md needs to be in a post folder.
I
No,
swear
the actual
that,
file.
oh man, did I? Something's not right. What did I do wrong? Phil, are you still in the chat? You know how this works. Permalink. This will
I
be.
think it's a directory thing.
Okay. I'm so frustrated by this. Read more about pagination, because I swear to God I've done this without doing that.
Oh really? Oh
yes.
Okay.
Pagination items 0 slug.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's this, right? So let's try this. You gonna cooperate?
That's it.
I think that did it.
Oh, what? That's a new one for me.
Okay, so that got closer, but it didn't quite do what we wanted.
Do we put safe on it?
I thought so. Also, definitely should have done that bit at least. Alias post.
Hey.
All right, so now we have that, and if I go into the default, we can, instead of this, do like a header, and we can link back to the home page and say like ghost powered 11D blog.
I hope Zach would be proud of me, or proud of us.
Okay, so now we've got a ghost powered 11D blog. We can pop into all of these pages. So we've got like a legit navigable functioning site, right? Like that's pretty cool given like how little code was actually required to make that work.
Yeah.
So just to recap here, we created an 11D.js that pulls in the Ghost Content API. I'm going to rename this so that it's clear what this is. Content API. That was not the part that needed to be edited. Okay, so we've got the Ghost Content API, and then we've given it our access keys to the Ghost admin, and then we add a collection for posts, grab all of our posts, and then we have our index file, which grabs those posts. So it's just out of collections, and it limits to 100. You could limit to whatever you wanted. And 11D's got some really cool stuff about pagination if you want to dig into that on your own. And then we just loop through these posts using, this is, I believe, a Liquid template. Or I think Liquid and Nunjux are mostly compatible. There's like some minor differences. We're using a default, like just a general layout here. So you write whatever HTML you want. I'm going to copy this in here as well, actually. Right? Oh, you know what I can do? Watch this. It'll be... No, I'm not gonna do that. That's gonna break things. Like you can also pull in the metadata. So like we're pulling in the content here, but if we wanted to, we could pull in the page title. We would just have to make sure that we set that data properly, which it would involve a little bit more. But then once we've got our index page, which uses this default layout, we also have a post page, which uses our post collection in the default layout. But by setting the size to 1, it just does a single post. And we set the permalink by getting into the pagination stuff, and then we're able to display our content. So like that's a whole ass website with very little actual code going on. So, and one of the things I like about this is, like, again, what you have to learn to make this work, once you get past this point, everything else that you're going to do is writing HTML. You're going to add styles, you're going to add a header and a footer. You're gonna add some wrapping components for your content, and like otherwise you're just writing content. You're gonna write in Ghost. You're gonna rebuild your 11D site. 11D is super fast to build, so it won't take very long, and your content goes live. It's really, really nice. So a question: does Ghost support like webhooks to trigger builds?
Yes, they do. Yes, in fact, you can create those webhooks inside the integration item. So if you went back to your 11T integration that you created in Ghost, you can create a hook.
Oh, it's literally right here. Just add webhook.
Yep. And just call it like site rebuild or something like that.
And is this like any time that anything is changed?
That's right. And I believe it also includes like if you have a scheduled post. So if you want to schedule a post, that'll trigger that event, and then you can rebuild the site, and you get scheduled posts that actually publish.
That's so cool.
I'm more excited about that because when I started doing Jekyll, I realized you can't do any scheduling whatsoever without literally waking up and going build.
Totally.
So this seems really cool.
And so if you wanted to do that, because we haven't actually set this up, we don't have a live instance of Ghost anywhere, but we can set up webhooks somewhere. Where is it? Deploy, is it notifications? It's in here somewhere. Environment variables, continuous deployment. Outgoing webhook. So, or no, that's not right. That's not the right one. In general, maybe? It's in here somewhere.
You want continuous deployment?
Where did it go? Build and deploy. Maybe you have to link site to get that to work.
Right.
Let me look at like here on learn with jason.dev. There are, I think it's here. Build hooks. Yeah, you get your build hooks, and so you can trigger the site to rebuild by creating one of those build hooks, which is a really nice. It's a really nice workflow. Access control. Like access control, whatever is set up in Ghost is going to work, right? So I've got my staff. So if the only people who can cause this site to be updated are people who have been explicitly invited. It looks like we've got different roles. Can you customize these roles?
You can't customize those roles, but they're pretty verbose in like how you can manage different stuff. And you could even like kind of use it to create like a kind of team page if you wanted to, because that's one of the endpoints you can get out of the content API. You can get authors. So all the authors are there with different levels, and they've got a bio and stuff like that, and you can get their posts as well.
That's cool. Well, I feel like, I mean, we kind of jumped around a little bit today. We did the pre-built Gatsby site, which is posted up somewhere here. So we pre-built and dropped that Gatsby site, which is pretty cool. If we take this 11D site, we can do the same thing. We will run, I think it's just yarn build. Yeah, that runs 11D. 11D is so fast. We built that site in less than a second, which is really fun. And then that deploys to a site folder. And so we can do the same thing with our Netlify site here, where we can literally just drag and drop this folder in and it goes live. So that's before I could even click on it, it was done. And so now our site is live. So, you know, we have a really, really powerful workflow for quickly getting things live. If we had a hosted version of Ghost, which we could get by going to the ghost.org site and signing in, we would be able to very quickly set this up. If we want to deploy, we could put it up on DigitalOcean. We could, you know, send it to probably Heroku or other like hosting platforms, and get something live. It's really kind of a matter of, again, do you want to spend time or do you want to spend money? Either case, you know, it's going to cost you something. You just got to decide where that trade-off is for you.
Exactly.
So Dave, I think we've hit a pretty solid stopping point here. We covered a lot of ground. We were able to build some pretty cool stuff in pretty short order. So where should people go next? Is there anything that you want to touch on before we wrap, or anywhere that you want to send people to go next?
Well, there is a 11T starter for Ghost that I built, and you could get running with that if you want to, or just dig into the code, steal bits of code out of there. It looks so similar to the Gatsby one, you can't really tell the difference. It's more like, what's your flavor of, like, do you want an 11T setup? Do you want a Gatsby setup? And I mean, you could go to town on this. Like, well, in fact, that's what I'm doing with my site at the minute. I've taken this starter, forked it, and then just binned like loads of stuff and like starting afresh. Because once you've got the API into the 11T file, you can then like expose all the collections and kind of go a bit wild. In fact, I did the same thing with the homepage. I created a page called Home, and then I removed it from the collection, so then it doesn't generate a page. But then I can still use that on the homepage and kind of create these kind of custom like bits of data and stuff like that still uses pages as a concept.
Very cool.
So, I mean, we've got ghost.org. You can do like self-hosted version of that. All types of people who are using Ghost in different ways are welcome in our forum as well, which is forum.ghost.org. Ghost.org, yeah. And I am there all the time. I am there for like asking questions. Just have a play. I'd urge you to like get up and running with like the local installation and have a real good like play. And you can always like try the trial as well, but it'd be good if you like find out if Ghost is right for your setup of your site or something.
For sure. Cool.
Like the type of content, like posts and stuff like that.
Yeah. And where should people go to find you online?
I am David Darnes, DavidDarnes, on everything. On like literally everything.
Did you shoot this specifically so that it looked like you were like appalled at yourself for not looking at the camera?
Well, I wish. I just naturally am appalled at myself all the time. I try to do a really weird face, and my wife was taking the picture, and she's good at photography, but I'm not good at pulling a face.
Excellent. Anywhere else people should check?
You can go to david.darn.es. I blog on there. Currently, that is a Jekyll install. I try and talk about Ghost, and I try and talk about Netlify, and I'm playing around with 11T at the minute. So maybe you should urge me to like finish a new version of my site, which is going to run on
just
Ghost.
ship the thing and finish it later. Get the posts out there.
I'm currently like enjoying CSS Grid, but not actually doing anything with it. Just like keep like,
Oh,
that's
man,
cool, that's cool.
I know that feeling very much, and I have a thing that'll help. I just had Rachel Andrew, who is one of the creators of Grid, come on the show, and she did a killer. We just live coded. We found something on Dribble, and we just live coded it together on CodePen. It was so much fun. We covered so much information. It was really, really outstanding.
Awesome. She's so knowledgeable.
She's
I mean,
the
obviously,
best.
but it's like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And with that, I think we're gonna call this one done. So make sure you tune in on Thursday. We've got a really, really exciting episode. Dan Mall is gonna come on and teach us design systems. Dan is hilarious. He's extremely knowledgeable. It's gonna be a good time. Definitely check that one out. And just check the whole schedule. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I am just so very, very happy at all of the people who are coming on this show. It's gonna be an amazingly good time. We're gonna cover so much stuff. Like, look at this. Control apps with your thoughts. We're going to do mind control on Learn with Jason with Charlie Gerard, who, Charlie, if you don't follow Charlie, you need to do that like right now. She is just amazing. But definitely go check out the schedule, follow the show, and stay tuned, because on Thursday we're going to give away another ticket to the Jamstack Fast Track workshop. And keep in mind, these early bird tickets are only available until Thursday. So if you want to get into the workshop, it is currently $200 off, and you can get in now for a significant discount. There's only a few tickets available at that price, and they are done on Thursday, so get in now. If you've got some education budget, this is a great way to spend it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cover a lot of really practical stuff, including things that will help you if you start using Ghost on your website. So with that, Dave, thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for playing with the boop. I really appreciate it. It's making my day. I think we're going to call this one good. Chat, stay tuned. We're going to raid. Dave, thank you very much. We will see you next time.
Thank you.